cast from the coast.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Here's Johnny.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
This 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Have you checked the children?
Welcome, everybody, to episode 35 of They Cast from the Coast, the cult and horror web series from Eastern Canada. My name is Adam Miles, and I have with me, as always, Tim! Well, your nipples are dumb, Johnson.
Nice way to start the episode, Adam.
Great way to start the episode. Your nipples are dumb, Johnson.
Nipples are dumb, Johnson.
Nice. How you doing, Tim?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. You like that reference? It's all part and partial to tonight's episode. It's going to be a great episode, and that was one of the lines that kind of caught me for a bit of a laugh because I forgot about that line entirely until I watched the movie again. I thought it was great. So.
It was good. It was good.
Man. What have you been up to?
Nothing. Same as always. Editing pictures and getting ready for HowlCon that's in the end of the month.
Yeah.
I'm doing photography for that. Got all kinds of people wanting photo shoots with me, and
with Tim. Time with Tim.
Time with Tim. Tim time.
Tim time. That's good, man. That's good. So you're keeping busy. That's good. All right, man. That's all right. And gonna have to go around the table here because we got a lot to discuss tonight. But let's just go around the table for a second here. Dave!
Cut Miles!
Oh!
I just got a haircut, Miles. Nice job, Tim. You had to throw that in there, right?
I did.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good. It's good.
That's right. Next it'll be Adam, who hasn't cut his hair in forever. Miles.
Adam lets himself go, Miles.
Adam lets himself go, Miles. Thank you, Tim.
Maybe one of these days it'll be Adam Man Bun Miles.
Adam Man Bun Miles. I want to get the samurai going.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get it going there. It's
Samurai
okay.
going or something. Makes it easy. I can just go. Wah. I'm like, man, these little ponytail things are easy. Keep my hair down. So, low maintenance.
Yep.
It's all right. All right, guys, we got a good episode ahead of us here tonight. So I mean, let's just open up the floor here for a minute, guys. What have you been watching on TV, Tim? What have you been doing? Seen anything good lately? Done anything?
Not so much TV. Kind of all my shows are over and waiting for new ones to start.
Okay.
So I'm patiently waiting for Walking Dead. I was going to start watching The Mist since it came on Netflix.
Yep.
Haven't gotten around to it yet. Been very busy doing the photography stuff. So I haven't really had all that much free time to be watching stuff. I think the thing that I watched last was the 2 RoboCop movies and Jurassic Park with my kid. He's never seen either one of them.
Sweet.
RoboCop blew his little mind.
Nice.
It blew his mind.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yes.
Jeez.
But yeah, like I said, I haven't really, ever since Game of Thrones ended, I haven't really had much TV shows that I've been watching. Like I said, I was going to get into The Mist. I haven't watched it yet. So that's on my list.
That's pretty good. It's I'm only about 5 episodes into it so far, and it's good.
How many episodes was the first season? Was it 8?
What, The Mist?
Yeah.
It was like
10.
It was like 10.
Was it 10?
It's 10, yeah.
And did you watch it all, Dave?
I did. Yeah, it's good. There's been no announcement of a season 2. I'm hoping there is because, like most television shows nowadays, it ends on a cliffhanger. Like, it doesn't end, so hopefully we'll get a season 2. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the ratings are and we'll see what the network decides. But
I heard that there's supposed to be a Stephen King cinematic universe called The Kingdom, where like all these like movies and TV shows that are being produced now are all taking place in the same universe, the same Stephen King universe. So there's supposed to be references to like, I guess there's in It when it comes out next Friday. When that comes out, apparently there's all kinds of references in that. Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool.
Is that the big project that J.J. Abrams is working on, the Castle Rock project? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Well, that the Castle Rock is, I guess, like TV specific. Like they're taking like King short stories and making them into episodes or 2-part episodes or whatever. Okay. It's supposed to be like this anthology series or whatever. But again, it's bringing, it's making a universe because apparently Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise, is actually credited in one of the episodes.
Ooh.
So why would he be there? Because I know Pennywise showed up in other areas besides just It, right? Yes. So I think that would be awesome if he reprised his role as Pennywise showing up in this TV show. It would be awesome.
Well, there was a behind the scenes set photo from the first week of recording that showed a business like a little storefront, and it said "Needful Things" on the sign. So it's going to be great. It's going to tie.
What does that mean?
Well, Needful Things, the Stephen King story. Tim.
What?
like you're trying to put me on the spot about something as if I don't know what the hell Needful Things is. I don't know where you're going with this.
No, I was trying to imply that I didn't know what Needful Things was, but I do.
Oh, okay.
See, you always make it about you.
Because it is.
You see that, Dave? Did you see that? Like he made it about him.
Tim was looking to get educated. That's all. But actually, it was more for the audience in case the audience didn't know what Needful Things was.
Exactly. I'm considered
I got it.
A thoughtful host, a thoughtful co-host.
Oh, fine and dandy. Did that just gain me a new name at the? I'm Adam. Everything's about me, Miles.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
pretty much, I guess. Okay. Yeah, no, it's going to be good, man. The only thing that pisses me off about the whole Castle Rock thing is that it's in conjunction with Hulu. So being, second to that, being from Canada, we won't get it right away by any means. People are going to have to stream it online somehow, VPNs or gray area Android boxes or whatever have you, but we're not going to naturally get it as it premieres. So that's the one thing that really irks me about it. At least when they do something like The Mist on Netflix, everybody has access to Netflix. Not necessarily right away the same content, but like a week or two later, you'll get the content somewhere else. So
yeah,
that would have been.
I mean, it would have made more sense them doing this with Netflix or even HBO or something like that. But I mean, Hulu.
Man.
Yeah. Well, and I mean. So the same thing is happening right now with Mr. Mercedes. It's only on like very limited U.S. networks.
Isn't it on like the USA Network or something like that?
No, it's not on the USA Network. It's like DirecTV, or there's some other one where it's like streaming online, but it's for U.S. audiences only. We have no access to it here in Canada. And I'd love to be able to see that show, but...
Oh, we'll eventually get access to it through like Bell or Rogers Media. And it'll be like you have to have a minimum of a $200 a month cable package to actually. Well,
that's that's what it is now with any of the stuff. Like we in Canada, we don't get HBO Go or HBO. What is it? HBO Now or HBO Go, which is the live streaming. There's two different variations. I always get confused on them.
We don't get the direct HBO access. We have to go through a provider like MTV or MGO or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. We have to go through a provider like Rogers or Bell, whoever has the contract. And again, like you said, Adam, you nailed it. These guys make us, pay $200 a month for our cable services to get all these different channels when, you know what, I'm a consumer. I don't want the other crap that comes with that cable subscription. You know what, let me subscribe to HBO, digitally on my Apple TV for $10 a month, $15 a month, whatever it is. And, allow me the freedom to do that with all these different channels. don't make me pay $200 a month.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what? I've got Netflix, and I've got iTunes, and I canceled cable 5 years ago because I'm fed up with paying for cable here in Canada. Fed up with it. There's nothing good on it. And in order to get the good stuff, I have to bundle in everything else. And it's just the prices, I can't justify it. I'll wait till it comes out on Netflix.
Yep. No,
it works right now.
I'm the same way. And it makes it more difficult to actually find good stuff when it comes to Canadian, or not even just Canadian, horror on television in general. It makes it fairly limited to what we can have access to. So,
see, I am the proud owner of an Android box, and you literally could just go into TV, genre, horror, and it's like every horror TV show ever.
Yeah,
you could just stream.
Yeah,
like,
and in
I didn't even think about Mr. Mercedes. I could watch that tonight.
Yeah, and in Canada, it's still a gray area. It's not illegal to own those. It's because it's taking advantage of the streams on the internet and all this kind of stuff. I haven't invested into one by any means. I've got enough on my plate with what I'm watching on Netflix, and I don't have cable, but what's on iTunes and the movies that I buy and everything else. So, I mean, I'm happy and content with what it is, and my kids don't need anything more than that at this point. So. But I mean, very soon those will probably be cut off and made illegal, just the sale of them.
You're going to jinx it.
Yeah, it is what it is. A little bit more about horror TV, though. I talked about one of the last episodes, a TV show that I was kind of surprised about, The Sinner, starring Jessica Biel. I managed to catch up on a few other episodes of this. Here's the problem. It has changed tone entirely. In a couple of episodes. It went from being a holy crap murder meets frailty and everything else type of show to something that's kind of a mix between the Virgin Suicides meets American Beauty meets... I don't know what to explain it as.
It's a lot of meeting.
There's a lot of very weird stuff. There's a lot of backstory behind what happens to Jessica Biel's character to bring her to this point. There's some sort of like a subconscious thing that's going on, and there's a lot having to do with her childhood with that baby that was in the family that kind of grew up sick, and they're kind of young girls exploring things, about sexuality and boys and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of like, it better go somewhere or else I'm just dropping it, and it's not going to be something that I recommend to anybody, because the first episode blew me out of the water. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be something awesome, demonic, and frail, talking to God, and God tells me to kill people. Hey, you know what I mean? It's kind of taking a whole different tone, and I'm not too happy with it at this very moment. So at the very least, it's got a lull in the story, in my opinion, and honestly, I almost fell asleep during the last episode that I watched, so pick that back up.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate, because for one, I like Jessica Biel, for two, I like Bill Paxton, and for three, it's horror on TV. It should be better than this, so we'll see where that goes. Oh, well, gentlemen, I don't really have much else to say myself, and I'm just kind of eager to get into tonight's episode. What do you guys think? Anything else you guys want to put into the round table?
Not a whole lot. Just looking forward to it coming out, and all the new Stephen King stuff that we're getting lately. It's awesome. I mean, it's fantastic. Long overdue. And
the fact that Stephen King said that he was so surprised at how scary this movie was.
Yep. Well, that brings up one other quick point that we'll make then. There was an article that was published 2 days ago that stated that Stephen King has officially purchased back the movie rights to a whole list of his own books and movies.
Wow.
Including, what was it? The Shining, Carrie, Cujo.
Cujo, Firestarter. Was The Shining one of them?
I think The Shining was one of them. I can't remember the whole list. All I know is that they listed off about 6 or 7 that he purchased the rights back.
Well, I think what it is the rights are expiring, and he's not what's the word I'm looking for? He's not allowing the option to renew, so the rights are going to revert back to him in September 2018, so a year from this month. The rights for a small list of his works are going to revert back to him.
Nice.
That's so good.
And all I can say is
yeah.
with the way that things are going with horror movies now, and especially where he's finding popularity again with the newer generation, and he's finding directors that are making very, very good versions of his movies.
Yeah.
That just makes it that he can now say, who's going to do this for me? And he's going to have the option to say, I want this guy or this guy. And, it'll be good. It's not like the old days where it was just it threw it out there and it was just about who can get it out the fastest or make the best. Aside from some of the great ones, obviously. But
do you guys remember movies like Pet Sematary? Pet Sematary was awesome. Sleepwalkers.
Of course.
Yeah.
The dance scene at the beginning with the hot chick in the movie theater is still one of my favorite. Come on now, man.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that was the Stephen King that we used to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even though that's not officially a book or anything, he wrote the screenplay. It was, based off his, he wrote it. But I'm liking that they're able to get, the tone right now. Like, yes, we just had The Dark Tower, which flopped, and I'm glad it did, because now it's going to take them back to the drawing board to see, okay, well, we can't make this big epic movie in a 90-minute installment. Like, it's stupid.
Did you watch The Dark Tower?
I watched... No, I didn't. I watched the trailers, and that was enough.
Okay.
For me to know.
I haven't seen it, so I want to see it, but... Yeah, I'm a little worried because it's like 7 books, and I don't know if they were planning on making 7 movies or...
Well, the plan was they were going to do 3 movies and 3 seasons of a TV show in between the movies, right? And that's a really cool idea, blah, 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 but, yeah, they dropped the ball, and it just sucked.
Yeah, I have a friend by the name of Aileen who is a massive Stephen King fan, and she went and seen The Dark Tower opening night, and it's her favorite series of Stephen King by far. And she walked out of there saying, I'll give them a little bit of praise because they tried, but that sure as hell was not The Dark Tower. No. She liked Idris Elba. She could stand Matthew McConaughey, but she was sitting there the whole time apparently cringing, going, he better not say, all right, or else I'm just going to leave.
I think that would be the only thing that would save his performance in that.
Oh, she said he said something very similar to it, like, right on, or something like this, right? And she was like, I'm almost going to leave. but she sat through it, and she said it was okay to say that you watched it. You know what I mean? Like, say you saw it, but it was not The Dark Tower that she wanted by any means. She said they do need to go back to the drawing board.
They should have, like, HBO series.
Oh, yeah, like Westworld, Game of Thrones stuff.
Game of Thrones, yes. That is how you would make The Dark Tower. Because you can get the cinema and the scope of this big epic movie, but in installments on a TV show. And you can tell so many, even if it's 10 episodes, that's a 10-hour story arc right there.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Yep.
And each season could be one of the books. Just like Game of Thrones.
Just like Game of Thrones. That'd be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is so good this season.
Yes.
Did you guys finish up Game of Thrones this season?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Oh. So good.
Oh, man. Get zombie dragons just blasting the shit out of things.
That's...
best death.
I'm a little disappointed, though, that we may have to wait till, like, 2019 for the
just
last
a rumor.
season.
It's just a rumor.
I know.
A rumor. They said worst case scenario, it's like late 2018. Late. Yeah. Like, normally they try to put it out like May, June. This year it was like, July. August. Yeah. And I mean, worst case scenario, it's like September, October of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. I can deal with that.
Me too.
Yeah, I can deal with that. That's fine. And it'll all be worth it because they're also saying that the finale itself is going to be like a 2-hour movie, basically. It's going to be like 2 hours in length is what the plan is. So it's a lot to cram in. I'm okay with it.
So awesome.
I'm okay with it. It'll be sad when it goes, but I've bought all the episodes up until now, and I'll buy the last 2 episodes or last 2 seasons as well. I mean, so we'll go from there.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the movie for the night. The movie is a movie that brought the name Adam Green to a lot of us. We're going to be talking about 2006 Hatchet. Old school American horror. Yeah! Coming back in a minute, guys.
Greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, president of Troma Entertainment and creator of The Toxic Avenger. You know, folks, when we're not making those great movies like Tromeo and Juliet and Return to Nukem I, a.k.a. Volume 2, the Troma team and I like to kick back and listen to They Cast from the Coast. They Cast from the Coast is really the best entertainment, the best education, and the best emotional liberation that Lloyd Kaufman can possibly experience. Thank you.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Victor Crowley. Folks weren't too kind of Victor, so he stayed hidden in his daddy's house, out in the bayou. One night, some mean children came to his house, and there was a bad fire. When his daddy chopped down the door to save him, he didn't know Victor was pressed against the other side. And poor Victor Crowley died. They say people disappear in those woods. And legend has it, if you get close enough to the old Crowley house at night, you can still hear Victor Crowley roaming in the woods, crying for his daddy.
I want to go home.
Welcome back, everybody. And now, for the rest of the episode, we are going to talk tonight about, once again, 2006's Hatchet from Adam Green. Tim, take us out.
Oh, okay. So let me just say this first before I get into the synopsis. This was one of those movies that I always wanted to watch, but never got around to. Okay, yeah. I am a big fan of Kane Hodder anyway, but this was always one of those movies that, for me, it was on the list, but always got left behind. And I watched it a couple weeks ago when they did that announcement, the secret part 4 that they did.
Victor Crowley.
Yes. So I was like, man, I have to watch this new part, but I need to watch the other part. So I took it upon myself. Me and Anthony marathoned it. Holy shit! It was my idea for this episode. That's how excited I was.
Yeah, we had to push a couple of other things out of the way to get this episode going just for Tim. He needed to spout on this.
Because this is the type of movie that needed to be made, and it needs to be made more often.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a callback to what made 80s slashers so great.
Absolutely.
With that being said, the synopsis. Okay, so this whole movie takes place in the Louisiana Bayou, and it is the legend of Victor Crowley.
Or Hatchet Face.
And the movie more or less starts off with these two hunters in a boat, and they're gator fishing, and they're not supposed to be there, and it is an amazing cameo by Robert Englund and Joshua Leonard. Robert Englund being Freddy Krueger, Joshua being best known for the Blair Witch Project. Father and son, they got a wonderful relationship. They're making fun of each other, and then, you know, like any slasher movie, they happen upon Hatchet Face, Victor Crowley, and they're in his woods, and they're not supposed to be, and he kills them horribly. Horribly wonderful, and that basically starts the chain of events that happen after that. Shall I continue? Is there anything you guys would like to add?
Gloriously kills them, I would say, because
yeah,
we get a glimpse, a small glimpse of what's to come.
Yeah.
With Hatchet, and I mean it. just to add to what you said, Tim, like we need more movies like this, and it's one of the reasons why. And it was a term that was used in the marketing for this movie, and it's so true. So if you can see right up at the top underneath Hatchet, it says "Old School American Horror."
Yeah,
and it's exactly what it is. I mean, right from that opening scene, you know what you're in for, and it's like, okay, I'm ready, bring it on.
Yeah. And
it's awesome.
And the violence and the blood is so gratuitously beautiful, especially when you come down to he's ripping somebody apart, and all of a sudden it shows a tree, and then just a bucket of blood splatter, and it's like you just want to yell, yeah, like that's what I want, right? Yes. But yes, it does begin the chain of events, which in turn brings some of the other main characters into light.
Yes.
Yes.
So after all that stuff happens to Robert Englund and Joshua Leonard in the woods, as we all are agreeing that it was glorious, it then immediately cuts to the events of Mardi Gras that's happening. And no, Adam, out of the corner of my eye, I saw you do that.
No beads for you.
No beads for me.
Calm them tits. So we catch up in Mardi Gras, and we are introduced to Ben, played by Joel Moore, and his best friend Marcus, and they're doing all the Mardi Gras stuff, but Ben is just not feeling it. He broke up with his girlfriend, or she broke up with him. He's not over it, and this Mardi Gras stuff is just not floating his boat, which is kind of a pun foreshadowing what I'm about to say. Yeah. So Ben ends up finding out about this haunted swamp tour. And Marcus agrees to go with them, and they find that the tour's closed because the guide, Reverend Zombie, played awesome by Tony Todd, Mr. Candyman, he doesn't do it anymore because he was sued for negligence.
Because somebody tripped and hit their head on the boat.
Yeah.
Cocksucker!
So, Reverend Zombie suggests trying a place further down the street, owned by this over-the-top, inexperienced tour guide, Sean. And Marcus decides to leave, but changes his mind when they walk into the store, and there's two topless girls being filmed, and basically the tour group starts right there. Sean is awesome because he does this really, really bad Louisiana, New Orleans accent, and he's got like a cape. He looks like a cheap,
Liberace ripoff.
Yeah. So, anyways, he ends up setting up the tour. So you got the two topless girls. You got what was his name? Shapiro.
Yeah, Shapiro. Yep.
Played by Joel Murray, Bill Murray's little brother, which was awesome. Ben ends up paying, and they all take him to the tour bus. They get on the boat, and they're going to this haunted tour of the swamps, the part where you're not supposed to go. And Victor Crowley's woods. And that's basically the start of the awesomeness that is Hatchet.
Nice. So, funny enough, you talk about cameos there for a second. So, talking about the characters and the acting for a minute. It's got Tony Todd in a cameo. It's also got one of the 4 or 5 friends that are starting off walking down the street during Mardi Gras before Marcus and Ben move off. One of them is actually Adam Green, the director.
He's been in all 3 of them, actually.
He's been in all 3 of them. I think in the second one, it starts off with him vomiting on the sidewalk because it takes place the next morning or something. So he's like, and then it's like, there's his cameo, right? It's great.
Yeah,
but he's one of the friends walking down the street. And you've got, just great stuff all around with these characters. What I really like about the characters that they do with this is that they really diversify what they got going onto the boat. You got Marcus and Ben, who are just kind of your average Joe American kids. I don't want to say kids, but, young adults. Then you've got the Bayou Beavers and the 2, attention whores who just basically want to show off their tits and go to Hollywood. Then you've got Richard Rile, who is a old-time actor from a lot of movies going.
Yes.
And him and his wife in the movie. And they're just it's nice to be here type of American
absolutely adorable.
They are beautiful people.
And they got killed the worst.
Oh, man. Best kill in the movie, yes. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. But the diversity of the characters and their interaction was really well done. And this movie, kind of like a lot of things that Adam Green does really well, dialogue is fantastic. Very original, constantly kept up with a good pace. There's not a lot of slow time in this movie.
No.
And they really don't feel the need to hold your hand. Even when they get to... What was that?
Oh, well, one of the things that I was going to say was, going back to the ensemble cast, is that normally in this style of movie, you get a group of friends.
Yeah.
They're all about the same age. They all play the archetype of the certain type of people. But with this, you have that same kind of dynamic, but they're not friends.
They're strangers.
They're strangers. Two of them are friends. Two of the other ones are, like, three of them are in a group. Like, they're all little groups within the group.
Yeah. And
they're all a different age range. Like, it was very, very nice to see. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a new spin on a classic theme. And
yeah,
I just wanted to say that before I forgot. Because I forget.
Absolutely, Dave.
I'm not done this, so let's...
Add to that, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I think Adam Green took this movie and, I like the quote, I mean, old school American horror. It's old school. It takes us back, to the heyday of the slasher films and an 80s type horror movie, but he also kind of flipped it around a little bit and introduced us to some new angles, like versus being all friends and stuff. You get the mixed company. You know what I mean? And it all works. It's the same but slightly different and updated essentially for next generation type stuff. Yeah, I mean, everything works with this movie. I absolutely loved this movie when it first came out. It was fantastic. I mean, I've watched it several times over the years, and with all three movies, they all flow together real nice. I mean, it just works real nice. I realized that after I said it. I'm like, real nice.
Real nice.
That's right. So then taking that and jumping a little bit further into this, I mean, we've already talked a little bit about the story of the plot and the characters themselves, but this movie is huge on the fact that Adam Green, he loves gore. Just about as much as anything else. Not only is this old school horror, which means that we have a slasher character, but this is old school American horror, and American horror loves its buckets of blood. And we said this at the very beginning. You have those beautiful shots where it's just like, look at the tree. Oh, bucket, just flash of blood.
But you bring up an interesting point. We recently just did the Fulci Gates of Hell, and we were talking about how he seemed to be more focused on the gore, right? Yeah. Adam Green is also focused on the gore, but did not forget about the characters, the plot. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
like
100%.
this, it was, and the gore was gorgeous.
Well done, extremely well done.
But
it was also original. There was an originality to what the deaths themselves. As you said before, Kane Hodder's favorite murder scene, like the favorite scene that he's ever killed anybody in any of the movies that he's ever done, Friday the 13th included, obviously, was in this movie. And it was actually Richard Rile's wife when he kills her. Because he takes her, and it's got this amazing angle where the camera pans around him, and he's got her upper jaw and her lower jaw, and he just pries them apart, and you can just see all the skin ripping. And just everything just falls into place, and it's just very nice.
That was the oh my god moment for me. That holy shit, this movie's amazing. Because, like, I watched a interview recently with Kane Hodder, and he was talking about that scene, and he said for years that his favorite death was the Friday the 13th. I believe it was part 7 or part 8. I don't remember. sleeping bag against the tree.
7.
Oh yeah.
7. Yeah. So he said that was his favorite until this Hatchet scene, and nothing has topped that. And yeah, I was like, yes, that's like my favorite. But the thing that I loved about this movie was it felt very much like Kane Hodder. It felt like an evolution of Jason. Like I felt like I was watching Friday the 13th movie, how it should be made now.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like the whole time I'm looking at Victor Crowley and I'm like, just put a mask on him. That's Jason. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just, yeah.
Yes, but you know what? I do have to, say hats off to Adam Green for actually introducing a brand new horror icon.
Yeah.
Into this generation, because I mean, for the longest time, we've been not stuck, but I mean, we've had Jason and Freddy and Leatherface and Pinhead, and it's been quite some time. I think I'd go so far as to say possibly Candyman would probably be the last true horror icon that was introduced in a series of horror movies, right? Somebody that's
Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, when did Saw come out?
2000?
So you're talking classic American horror icons, Dave.
Saw was 2004. And this one was 2006. So, but when Saw first came out, we didn't really get that Saw character until later.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm getting at is this is a recognizable horror icon.
Yeah.
Right from the very first time on screen. It's the first time that we've really been introduced to a true brand new horror icon since I would say probably Candyman, which was the early 90s maybe?
Well, the other thing
late 80s, early 90s.
The other thing you got to say about this is horror slasher icon. Because even then, to back up your claim on this, Dave, Jigsaw never actually did anything to murder the people directly. It was the game.
Yep.
They had the choice. But this is pick up the knife, stab somebody, slasher horror icon.
This is an actual character like Candyman, like Jason, like Freddy, like Pinhead. You know what I mean? It's somebody who's recognizable. You could throw the guy on a poster. You could make a figure out of him. You could do... see, with Saw, I relate Saw more to the puppet.
Billy, yeah.
Right? Versus Jigsaw himself.
Well, he wasn't even in all the movies. I mean,
I guess what I'm getting at is, Adam Green didn't reinvent the genre, but he elevated it and added something new, which was missing for so many years. I mean, the 90s had some decent movies, but ultimately it was the Scream generation, right? The Screams and the I Know What You Did Last Summers, and we needed more Hatchet. We needed Hatchet, you know what I mean, for the 2000s, and he delivered, and it was a fantastic movie. And like I said, he introduced a new horror icon.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, going back to what I was talking about, the deaths themselves were very beautifully done. So yes, we had, Richard Wilde's wife, slice her up. He was like chopped in half almost.
Brutally.
Just chop. And then he had the one of the Bayou Beavers girls where she had the sander pushed up into her face, and she's running around and her jaw's like all open and tongue hanging.
And then to pick that out, he picks her up and throws her on a shovel.
Yeah, that he used to cut the other guy's head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, she's already suffering. Now she's just going to die slowly on a shovel. That sucks even worse. And everybody who gets their comeuppance on this is, and I say comeuppance because, what are you doing out in the middle of the woods? You're in his territory. It's very traditional, but it's campy, but not too corny. It's got that fun element to the deaths, and that's just a really weird thing to say. It's got the
campiness
elements.
Fits.
It does. It really does.
But it's only slightly campy, just enough. Just enough that it kind of takes the edge off, so that the brutal scenes that you're seeing aren't quite as brutal because of that little bit of campiness that's in there.
There's
with
almost like a sense of like excitement and like
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right. So, I mean, that being said, though, best death in the movie, Dave.
best death. Hands down, the best death had to be the jaw ripping. I mean, there's no question for me. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Tim.
Same. It was a beautifully orchestrated song of violence. Like it just like the camera angle, how it was kind of jittery when it went around, and the power. Oh, it was amazing. The sound effects that was for it, the music that was playing. It was the most epic scene I've seen in a horror movie in a long time. But I mean, but all the rest of the deaths were really, really good too. But like my favorite one was the jaw.
Now I love that scene, and it's definitely one of the best deaths ever filmed. However, I gotta say, one of the most iconic scenes in this movie for me wasn't actually that scene. One of the deaths that actually struck me the best, or I want to say like struck me the most, was actually at the very end, the bleak ending that occurs. When you see the hand come into the water, and he pulls her out, and all you see is Hatchet face staring at her, and she looks at the boat, and there's Joel David Moore dying in the boat with missing his arm that he had basically just used to trick her out of the water. So
it was really good.
That was amazing, because I thought that they were getting away.
And
they really did have me tricked.
They don't. That does not count as a death. Because he didn't die and she didn't die. So your claim right there, no, does not count.
Well, he does die.
It was a very he in the second one.
Yeah, like he dies from his injury. So
we're talking about the deaths, the best deaths in this movie.
Fine, Tim, fine. Ripping apart the face. Blah,
all right, there you go.
Fine. I'll just, I try to talk different about this.
No, that ending, that little trick of, that was amazing. It was amazing. And then, like, as she's getting closer to the top, that's when you see the swirly blood of, like, the stump of the arm. But when you first see the hand go down, like, none of that's there. It was great.
It was great.
It was great. It was a good way to end the movie, too.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, just overall, this is a movie that I highly recommend to everybody. My overall rating and thought on this movie, I can't recommend this enough. If I ever hear that somebody has never seen this movie, I tell them it's probably on your list of movies to watch, but you need to put it up higher, and you need to get to it sometime soon. The movie's 11 years old. There's a fourth one coming out now, and the first reviews of the fourth one are saying it's back to what the first one presented. It is amazing, and I can't wait to see it. So, beautiful. I can't recommend this movie enough. So, Dave,
it's awesome. Again, it's a warm and fuzzy. It kind of takes me back to old school American horror as it's advertised. When I watched it, it felt like a comfort movie. It's like I've seen this before, but not quite like this. You know what I mean? And it fits in on the shelf with all the other movies. It's a fantastic movie, and I'm looking forward to Victor Crowley, the fourth one. Absolutely.
Tim.
I am so happy that I watched this movie. I'm so happy that I watched all three of them, because this, I felt, for the first time in a long time, it actually felt like a trilogy of movies. Because if you watch the first one and then immediately watch the second one, that picks up right then and there, and then the second one ends and the third one picks up right then and there, are the parts 2 and 3 as good as part 1? No, they're not. But I can appreciate it as a whole. You're sitting down watching this 3.5, 4 hour long story, and I loved it. And like you, Dave, I am really excited for Victor Crowley.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
Some of the best horror I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And me and Anthony the whole time we're going. Right?
Absolute shock.
Blew our minds.
Nice. The beauty of this movie, too, is, now that we've had our piece to say on it, the beauty of this movie is that it's got some really cool trivia to it. So, first and foremost, though, is that, like you had said, this is basically, you could actually strip the end credits and the opening credits to the sequels and get one continuous movie, because the story takes place over the span of a couple of days. It just a few days. It's all that it really is. But Adam Green, specifically, even when he handed over the ropes to, I think it was the third one somebody else directed. He directed 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah, part 3 was, B.J. McDonnell.
B.J.
It was all written by Adam Green. Like, it's still
Adam.
his baby, but
the
it
third
was
one was
directed by this other guy. Yeah.
He said flat out, no CGI. The only thing that the CGI, because he has a love for practical effects, the only thing CGI is going to be used for in this movie is CGI is going to be used to remove wires and extra pieces, as well as certain camera setups. So they would have like a camera that's somewhat visible in shot, and they just take it out later, just to make sure that they got the proper angles for the shots that they needed. But interestingly enough, something else that was kind of funny is that Adam Green's ex-wife... Gesundheit, Dave.
Excuse me.
Adam Green's ex-wife makes a cameo in this movie. And Adam Green's ex-wife, Rile Vanderbilt, beautiful model. She actually played young Victor Crowley. Under all the makeup of young Victor Crowley is a beautiful young model.
Interesting.
Yeah, but isn't she in all 3 of them?
I think she does have a role
because
she's
in, but she's in part 3 with no makeup.
I think actually, you know what? I seem to recall. Maybe she is. Good call, Tim. But I mean, yeah, she has her role in the first one, but you just don't know who it is anyway. So, oh man, it's
okay. Fun. So this piece of trivia, I love this. Okay, so Mercedes McNabb, she was one of the she was the blonde Bayou Beaver.
Yep.
She actually was in the Addams Family Values, the remake of the Addams Family. And she was the girl at the camp, and she was the one with Wednesday Addams on the dock, and they were doing some kind of role play or whatever, and she says, "I'll be a victim," to which Wednesday responds, "All your life." And it's just funny because she becomes a victim, and I just thought it was cool because I didn't even know it was her, right?
Nice.
Oh, things to come.
That's hilarious. It's actually kind of funny too. The T-shirt that David Joel Moore wears for Newberry Comics. I've actually seen those T-shirts around, and I've always wanted to get one anyway because they appear like in all of his damn movies. It's like his favorite comic book store. It's crazy. So that's another little cool piece of trivia in there. When they were filming this movie, they actually hid the production title so that people didn't know who was actually involved, and they actually called the movie The Love Rodeo.
Okay.
Who wants to visit the set of a movie called The Love Rodeo? I don't know, but
I don't know.
I don't know. But they hid the production title of the movie by calling it The Love Rodeo.
Adam Miles is
The Love Rodeo.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah, some good stuff anyway, guys. All right, I'm gonna say, is there anything else you guys want to add to this wonderful conversation we've had today?
Go watch this movie if you haven't seen it.
Yes, go watch this movie.
And certainly, if you haven't watched any other Adam Green movies, go check him out. So one of his most recent ones that I'm a huge fan of is Digging Up the Marrow.
Digging Up the Marrow.
It's more of a shot-on-video type situation,
like
but
found footage type of documentary.
Found footage, but it's. I was thoroughly impressed. I wasn't really sure going into it. Some found footage is good, some most not so good. This is one of the better ones. It's got a really good story behind it. It's got some really good actors, like Adam Green's in it. I think he plays himself in it, if I remember correctly. It's been a few years since I watched it.
Yeah, he actually does.
And
Riley Vanderbilt plays herself.
Yeah, and who's the other guy? Ray. Let me look it up here.
I know who you're talking about. One of the guys that he consults with. Because Kane Hodder's in the movie and everything. Like it's like Adam Green and all of his friends.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Let me just take a look here.
And don't forget to also
Ray Wise.
Ray Wise. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. No, absolutely. If you're going to check out other Adam Green flicks as well, you're going to want to check out the anthology film series that he did actually a while ago too. He did it with Adam Rifkin, and who was the other guy that he did it with, Dave? It was Adam Rifkin and a couple of other.
Drawn a blank.
Like not Bousman, Tim Sullivan. Tim Sullivan's the other one. Chillerama. Right.
Yes,
I love Chillerama, and look for me, I'm in that one.
I haven't been able to see you in it. You were at the drive-in, weren't you?
I was at the drive-in, yeah. I was one of the zombies at the drive-in. One of the jizz zombies or whatever. It's hilarious.
I'm not surprised.
Tim's not surprised.
No surprise
Adam's
there.
one of the jizz zombies. Go figure. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just hilarious.
Yeah.
I was in City of Industry, California, and I literally tweeted to Adam Green, anything to do in California tonight? And he goes, come on out and be an extra. I'm like, shit, yeah. So I drove down to the drive-in theater that he gave me the address for, and I walked in. They're like, yeah, come on over here. Let's get you in some makeup. And I just showed up on set. And I got to meet Richard Rile. I didn't get a chance to meet Adam Green. They had a lot of people kind of, around him, and he was really busy, and they kind of cut you off if you were going to go meet him because he was in the middle of producing and shooting. But it was pretty cool. The crap, I'm trying to think of his name now. The guy who actually directed Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer was there too. He was helping with that scene.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a really nice guy. He's from Ottawa. He's just a really nice guy when I was talking to him too. But yeah, check out the movies, guys, and don't forget, check out the last episode that we also did, episode number 34, which we talk about Fabio Frizzi. And we talked to the man himself, Fabio Frizzi. Dude, I'm still so stoked from that. That was great. And don't forget to check out Ship to Shore Productions and what they got coming on for the Fabio Frizzi. Frizzi to Fulci. I'm misspeaking tonight. Frizzi to Fulci.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. It's
about
amazing.
that. Yeah.
For the shows that are coming up in October. And check them out, guys. So until next time, Dave.
See you later.
Tim.
Stay mystical, everybody.
You're not going to let that go. I love it. Stay mystical, everybody. All right, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this week to They Cast from the Coast. We hope you enjoyed the topic and the discussion that we've had tonight. We're very excited about everything that's being produced right now in conjunction with the Misunderstood Art Company. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Say hi in the comments section. And just in general, check out the other content that's being offered, once again, under the Misunderstood Art Company. If you want to listen just to the audio portion of this show itself, we're making it available on iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn on top of the YouTube channel itself. So thank you very much again for your continued support. Check out the rest of the Misunderstood Art Company's offerings. You might even see some familiar faces. And until next time, take it easy.